Hey folks,
I'm Blix.
and I'm Bess.
Happy Pride!
We've been living in our van for the last 6.5 months, and we've been together for a little over 4 years. We bought this van in November of 2020 as a big step into changing our lives completely, and we haven't looked back since, and we are just really excited to share with you all our experience as a queer couple living nomadically. We chose van life because it was actually my dream for a really long time to live nomadically. I've always been obsessed with van life, just road life in general. I love just getting in the car and going off on the road, and it's always called to me. I'm also a burlesque performer, so the idea of being on the road and being a traveling showgirl was a fun dream of mine. It culminated to actually happening because of the pandemic, which has been, amongst the many tragedies of it, one of the handful of gifts that came from this time of really having the chance to reevaluate what we were doing with our lives. We were spending a ridiculous amount of money on rent living in the San Francisco Bay Area, and we just both got tired of it and didn't think that it was just a sustainable path for us anymore. So once I got Blix here on board, after watching a lot of van life YouTube and just really imagining changing our lives, we were just hunting for a van, and we found Peach.
So kind of what Bess was saying, initially I was super resistant to the idea of van life. I actually originally had said hell no to when she first brought up the idea of living in a van. I was super interested in a tiny home, but this tiny was a new concept for me. So yeah, I definitely have seen some challenges, but I've also experienced a lot of really amazing things. I think my biggest thing that I love about van life is just the freedom to go anywhere that we want and spend as long or as little as we want in a place, and getting to meet new people down the road and see how other people live is super, super fun. And yeah. I think it gives a really good perspective into just the world.
I just genuinely enjoy seeing new things. I think that it helps my mental health just to be able to take in the world in a way that I feel like you can if you are stationary. We really couldn't do much traveling because all of our money was going to rent and our basic needs. And if we did get to, it was a huge dent in our wallet, and it was a stressful thing more than an enjoyable thing. And at this point, van life offers us to be able to travel in a way that's just so embedded into our lives now. Yeah. And I think that's really awesome. Yeah.
So one thing that is challenging about being a queer couple doing van life and on the road is definitely having to utilize more public spaces and relying on public spaces for your basic needs. So one being bathrooms are challenging. I oftentimes am read as a man. I'm oftentimes read as a woman, or people don't know what I am, especially with a mask on. So there's just a lot of fear, I think, in using public restrooms, and there's been times where I had a staff member try to get me to leave a bathroom, and it's just really an uncomfortable and unsafe feeling. So bathrooms are challenging, and also gym showers, same kind of concept. But we've really developed a pretty good protocol. It's really a lot safer for me to be with Bess doing those things, because she's also another pair of eyes, and I don't think people question me as much if I'm with her for some reason.
Mm-hmm, yeah. We're also an interracial queer couple as well, and so there's just several intersections and elements of who we are as a couple that we're just hyper aware of, and especially if we're not in a place like California, either the Bay Area or Los Angeles. Everything's new to us. We don't know what we're walking into. We don't know what kind of communities are like, I mean, I would say though, so far we haven't had any extreme negative experience on the road.
Yeah, nothing horrible.
Nothing horrible. Just
some
microaggressions. Yeah.
One thing that's a little bit surprising to me, and it just puts who we are in perspective. Like, I think there's this idea of like, wow, getting to explore the world, and like you land somewhere and you just get to like embrace it and be a part of it. Whereas us, we kind of like slide our door open and like dip our toes in and see kind of our surroundings to make sure it feels safe. So there's just a lot more stress, I think, that goes on for us. But most people are nice, and so that's been our experience, I think, so far. But there are people that aren't, so we just have to be careful.
One thing is that we are sober. We're a sober couple. We actually met in sobriety. I'm a burlesque performer. As things open up again, and I'm performing more on the road, that'll definitely be integrated more as a part of our particular van life experience.
Bess is an amazing performer, so.
Thanks, babe. That's very sweet.
Facts. I'm actually a triplet, so I have 2 sisters the same age as me, and we're very close family. I also have an older sister, and we're a very close-knit group. Another fun fact is, during the pandemic, I actually graduated from acupuncture school, and I got my doctorate in Chinese medicine.
I'm actually Japanese and Black, and I don't think most people can read what I am based on our Instagram page, but one of my dreams is to actually do van life in Japan one day.
It's been interesting to join kind of a new community. I feel, for the most part, I feel very welcomed by the community. We're still new, so we don't. It's hard to like say, but I think from initial impression, it's been really a cool community to jump into, and we've been well received.
The only way I can feel like we could be stereotyped is that I feel like there is a very strong narrative created by white cis hetero couples of what van life looks like, and that's highly determined by the type of van that you have, and we certainly contribute to the narrative of a certain way a van should look like if you're doing van life because of the type of rig we have. If you really look into the van life scene and how people live nomadically, it does not look any certain type of way, and people do it so differently and so creatively, especially I feel like LGBTQ plus people. And the other thing with that too is that I feel like because of the type of rig we have, hopefully us having it also changes the narrative, is what I'm hoping, of who can have what kind of van. But in general, I would say, like Blix said, that hasn't been the energy we've been met with. Everyone has only given us love and admiration and support. We're also, not only are we van lifers, but we're YouTube van lifers, which I think is a totally different niche, not different, but its own little niche within the scene. And so there's the queer community who are YouTube van lifers. We're slowly getting to know them as well, but it's been nice to kind of have that relation going as well, and everyone's only been super supportive of each other's channels and learning from each other as well. And we're hoping to what's the term? Contribute, and I'll pay it forward at some point too if there are other folks who start this way of life after us, you know, and helping them out.
I think the reality is that LGBTQIA plus people and the community is underprivileged, and so I think for especially hetero, white, straight, I guess that's hetero, cis people to really see that and like help people in the community. If they want to build a following, help. You know, the algorithm doesn't work in our favor often because of our
who we are.
Because of who we are. And so I think that's a great easy way to help, is to like promote people.
It's so important for people who have platforms to boost other people who don't have it up, and also I just want to create a community, and I'm holding ourselves accountable to this as well, to always be open to learning about things, you know, and helping people who don't have it as good as we do. Just for the van life community to really start to figure out who can you be an ally to in a group that, you know, you don't belong to.
Blix and Bess and Quirky Campers
are proud to support Pride this month
and every month.